I'm Attorney General Roy Cooper. Stopping school violence is a high priority for me. Not only is it good public policy, it's personal. My children are in our public schools. Unfortunately, the tragedy at Columbine High School in Colorado is still fresh in our memory. And we must take to heart what the mother of a slain child in another school shooting said. Believe it can happen in North Carolina. Although we hope that it never occurs here, we must be ready. That's why it's critical that schools, law enforcement, and emergency responders work closely together, coordinating our efforts to respond to a school shooting quickly and effectively. And it's important that this coordinated effort be planned now, before an incident occurs. To assist in the planning, the Attorney General's Office, in conjunction with the Department of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention and the Department of Public Instruction, is recommending that every school assemble what's called a Critical Incident Response Kit. The kit's designed to help school personnel and law enforcement officials to be prepared for an emergency. Please watch and study this video carefully. It begins with a dramatization of a school emergency situation. After the dramatization, the video goes back and examines the incident step by step. None of us wants to even think about such a horrifying event, but we owe it to our children to plan for it. This video will reinforce the importance of having the necessary information on hand before trouble occurs. The information is also found in more detail in the booklet which accompanies this video. I pray that our schools never have to deal with a situation like this, but if we do, here's what you need to know to be prepared.
Morning. Hey, how'd that math test go?
Could have been better.
Oh, keep trying. You'll get it. No running in the halls. Walk. You'll get there.
The most common units of measurements are centimeters or millimeters for length, grams or milligrams for mass, liters or milliliters for volume. Now, Cora, would you read number 3 about reading the scale?
Read the scale to the nearest subdivision. When an object is measured with a meter stick subdivided only into centimeters, it is difficult to express the length to the nearest millimeter. It is often possible to estimate points between the subdivisions of the scale, but estimates to more than one decimal place are not significant.
Stay quiet while I call the office. Yes. Karen, this is Judy in 318. I need to speak to Mr. Miller now.
Yes, Ms. Howell.
Mr. Miller, I just saw a young man with a gun walking toward the school. Sit down, now. Be calm.
Is he a student? Where is he?
He could be. I don't see. There he is. I don't recognize him. Right now, he's walking through the parking lot.
Call 911. Get Officer Jones.
Officer Jones, report to the office immediately.
Yes, there's an emergency situation here at East Warner High School.
Okay. Stay calm.
I'm on my way, Miss.
Lock your door and get your kids away from the windows.
Yes, we're
Look
on
into the
State
hall.
Road
If you see any
22.
students, get them into your room.
I'm calling from the principal's office in the north building.
Did you get Officer Jones?
All
He's on his
necessary
way.
protocol. He's right here. Yes, just a second.
This is Principal Paul Miller at East Warner High School. A teacher has just reported seeing a young man with a gun on our campus.
We don't know who he is or what he wants. He might be a student. He was seen walking toward the east wing of our building. We're going into lockdown. The school resource officer is on his way to my office, but we need more help right away.
There's a class meeting in the cafeteria. I'm going to make sure they get into the kitchen.
It's 911. This is Officer Jones, the school resource officer. Yes, as you approach the north building.
Attention, all staff.
On the walkway, you'll see a
We
sign
have a
posted.
code 300. Repeat, code 300. All staff and students should move to a classroom at this time. Wait for further instructions. Thank you.
All right, please, I need you to get in here now. Please, let's go. Come on. Get in here now. Let's go. Hurry, hurry. All right, listen to me. Everything is going to be fine. I want everyone to get away from the hallway door and get down. Julie, I want you to turn off the lights.
Everyone, quiet now, please. Get down. There is an incident happening in our school right now. Help is on the way, and we are following our plan for handling these things. But right now, what we really need you to do is to stay calm, to keep quiet, stay down.
Just past my door, heading left.
Oh, thank goodness. The teacher in room 328 just called. He heard the shooter going by his room, headed in that direction.
That's over here.
Can someone shut down that fire alarm? Keep an eye down the hall. He may have moved. Good. There are 4 of us. We can move out in full contact formation. Does everyone have their vests? This guy is serious. He's here to hurt people. We have to figure out a way to take him down, or at least draw his fire away from the kids. You and the trooper, take the wings. Remember to stay a couple of feet away from the wall. That'll keep you away from any ricochets. You, take the rear guard and handle our communications.
Take the radio. Let us know when more backup arrives.
The dispatcher said that EMS will be here any minute.
Good. Let's move.
Lock the door. Sergeant Wazinski will be here shortly.
Got an intersection. Braking right. Intersection, braking left.
Somebody said there was a teacher in the boys' restroom down the hall on the left, Mr. Samuels, and he's been shot. And the guy with the gun went down to the hallway on the left.
You got that? All right, girls, I want you to put your hands on top of your head and go out the door at the end of this hallway. Do it now. Run.
Go, go!
We're sending 2 female students out your way. We also have a report of a wounded teacher in the bathroom at the end of the main hallway.
We also passed a classroom with no card, room 311. It needs to be checked out.
We copy that. This is Sergeant Wasinski. I'm the on-scene commander. We've got a rescue team ready to go. They'll check the restroom and room 311. It's the rescue team leader. We've evacuated the teacher from the bathroom. We're in room 311 now, and it's a vacant room. Let's go.
One officer injured and the suspect is down. We need medical attention here immediately. We're in front of room 328.
Stand by. A rescue team is on its way. Bring your team in. Let's do a thorough check before we start evacuating these kids.
I'm George Sweat, Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. What you have just seen is a dramatization of something we hope will never happen here in North Carolina. But if it does, educators, law enforcement, and emergency responders must be ready, and they must work together. Let's go back now and take a look at what these people did beforehand and on the day of the incident
to try to minimize loss of life in this lockdown situation.
In some classrooms, teachers don't have a way to contact the office through an intercom system or a telephone installed in the classroom. If that's the case, school administrators should develop a plan and decide how teachers should get in touch with the office in the event of an emergency. Whether you are communicating with the office or law enforcement officials, choose your words carefully. Be specific about what you have seen. Don't speculate or exaggerate. Remember, every moment counts. Having a predetermined verbal code for a lockdown is crucial so that school administrators can communicate with teachers without causing a panic among students. The same code should be used throughout the school district. When the code for a lockdown procedure is announced, teachers should set an example by speaking to students clearly and with a sense of calm. Substitute teachers and support staff, including custodial and cafeteria workers, should also be informed about the code and other response tactics. Office personnel should make sure that students who are not in classrooms are directed to the nearest available room. Students who are outside of the building should not return, but should be directed to predetermined safe rally areas near the school. The Critical Incident Response Kit, located in a secure but accessible place, is the heart of each school's preparation. In the event of a school crisis, a well-prepared kit can make a world of difference and help save lives. The kit should contain the items listed in the accompanying booklet. Among these are floor plans, which should identify such locations as the fire alarm turnoff, utility shutoff, sprinkler shutoff, and cable television shutoff; maps, which should help responders identify the traffic patterns and intersections that will be affected during a critical incident; an evacuation plan, which clearly indicates exit routes and safe rally points located away from the school; master keys or codes to the school; faculty and staff roster; and a contact list, which should include emergency phone numbers, school administrator numbers, volunteer and parent organization numbers, and media contact numbers. A complete list of the items is included in the accompanying booklet. These items can be assembled for less than $50 per kit. A card system should be used to indicate the status of each classroom to law enforcement officials and emergency responders. The cards should have the room number on them in large, legible print and should be easily accessible. If emergency assistance is needed in the room as soon as possible, teachers should use the red cards. If everything is safe in the classroom, then teachers should use the green cards. If no cards are posted, responders will assume that the teacher may not be in control of the classroom, or that the classroom is empty. The cards should be positioned in two places. One should be slipped under the classroom door into the hallway or taped in the window of the door. The other should be taped in the exterior classroom window, if there is one. By this point in an incident, when law enforcement officials are on the scene, the duties of school personnel shift from being in charge of the facility to assisting those in law enforcement. The first inclination of school officials who are used to having primary responsibility for the safety of their students and staff may be to try to take control of the response to an incident. But in fact, they must recognize the need to hand over authority to law enforcement officials and do so without hesitation. Also, school administrators should use the incident command system, which helps to determine the roles and functions each person must perform in the event of an incident. For example, if the principal should happen to be absent when an incident begins, the school's second in command, such as an assistant principal, should step into that leadership role. School officials should be familiar with the incident command system. More information about this system can be found in the accompanying booklet. Law enforcement officers who are first to arrive on the scene must make a crucial decision. If they determine that they are dealing with an active shooter, one who is firing his weapon indiscriminately, they must engage the suspect immediately. A contact team of 2 to 4 officers should assemble and then move out to locate and subdue the shooter. This technique is called rapid deployment. To summarize, the priorities of the law enforcement response to an active shooter on campus are: a contact team should locate and stop the shooter, a rescue team should rescue the injured, backup officers should control a perimeter, officers should search for other unknown hazards. When it is safe, law enforcement officials should completely evacuate the facility. And when evacuation is complete, officers should process the crime scene. The priorities for administrators in a critical incident are: notify teachers and staff that a lockdown has been issued, notify authorities of the critical incident by calling 911, take control of the bell system in your school, override the automatic controls and switch the system to manual. From its secure location, retrieve your critical incident response kit, meet with law enforcement officers when they arrive and provide them with access to materials from the kit. And finally, notify your local school superintendent of the incident that is taking place. The priorities for teachers and staff in a critical incident are: bring students who are nearby into your classroom, lock or otherwise secure your doors, have your students sit on the floor against a wall where they are not visible from the window of your classroom door. If possible, keep them away from exterior windows too. Turn off the lights in your classroom, and use a system of red and green cards to alert law enforcement officials about the status of your classroom.
I'm Superintendent of Public Instruction Mike Ward. In this dramatization, lives were saved because plans had been made ahead of time, because school officials had collected important information in one easy-to-access place.
And because the law enforcement officers recognized that they were dealing with an active shooter and engaged him rather than waiting for backup.
This video and the accompanying booklet represent the best practices determined by experts for dealing with a critical incident of this kind. Of course, every crisis situation is unique, and educators, law enforcement officers, and other emergency responders have to use their best judgment in each case to determine what the appropriate course of action should be.
Officers, remember that training is the best way to prepare you to make those decisions. And rapid deployment training is available for law enforcement officers through the State Bureau of Investigation and the North Carolina Justice Academy.
We strongly urge you to follow these steps to prepare for a crisis. If we all do our part and work together, we can prevent the loss of life that might otherwise take place.
For more information, contact the Center for the Prevention of School Violence, a division of the Department of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, at 1-800-299-6054, or visit their website at www.cpsv.org.